Awesome, welcome everyone to the Platform Podcast. On this show today, we have got Bianca Stiles joining us. Bianca, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're back from the US.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you did. I know you've got a very interesting college career that you had so far, haven't you?
Yes, I have. So I went to the US in 2019 and I started off at a D2 school. So I was at a school in Jackson, Tennessee, called Union University. And they recruited me for obviously soccer, but my first game that I went over and played at, I tore my ACL.
Oof.
So straight away I was kind of like having to go through the medicals, and I had surgery straight away. Kind of once I had recovered, I kind of like saw the level that I was at and I didn't really like it anymore. So I decided to go into the transfer portal, and then a D1 school called Gardner-Webb in North Carolina picked me up. So I was transferred there after my freshman year in 2020. And was living over in North Carolina at Gardner-Webb with COVID, like during COVID times as well.
Yeah, because you would have gone on such a tricky time. Because like 2019, no one really knew what the world was, what was going to happen to the world, right? So how did you deal with that over there?
I mean, whenever COVID first hit, like it obviously kind of hit America before it came to New Zealand. So I tried to explain to my dad, like, oh, like this new thing, COVID started. And he kind of said to me, oh no, it's like nothing to worry about. And then like a week later, he was like, okay, I'm pulling you from the country. So he pulled me back home for probably about 3 weeks. And then I was too scared to be stuck in New Zealand because everything kind of freed up in America quite quickly. So then I went back over quite quickly over there. But yeah, kind of playing in college with COVID was quite difficult because we were given face masks and we also had to be tested for COVID.
Was your temperature like checked when you were going into like gym facilities and stuff?
Yes, so every morning we would have to wake up between 9 and 10 a.m. even if we didn't have class to go get tested, and if you didn't get tested you would not be able to practice for the day. So it's quite strict.
Yeah, that's very strict. I mean, like you were in the States when you had COVID.
Yeah, that's what I'd love to know, because like I remember I obviously came home in COVID and decided to stay. But I remember talking to my boys back playing lacrosse that following year, and they were playing lacrosse. You know, you've obviously got a helmet on, but they had their masks on underneath. Like how actually was it running around with a mask and like?
Yeah, no, it was honestly really difficult. They ended up kind of changing the rules with the masks because most of me and my friends couldn't breathe. So like whenever we would like team huddle, we would have to like put the mask on. But usually when we were just running around the field, they like let us take it off because it was too hard.
Yeah, and it makes like when I was talking to a lot of college coaches in the States, if one person tested positive, they just couldn't go. Did that ever happen to you guys?
Yes, so that happened a couple of times. Like during our spring season when COVID first like started, there was a couple of times where our training sessions would be kind of cut. Like they would just be cut short because people would test, and then like when other sports teams started getting COVID, it kind of spread across our team, so we would all kind of be down bad for a couple of weeks when it was one person would get a case. Yeah,
it's also a tough time, but like what was the support like from the academic staff? Because obviously lecturers would have been affected as well, right?
Yeah, so I mean the professors were really really helpful with them, like trying to make sure we were all okay. Like whenever people felt uncomfortable to go to class because of COVID, they kind of made everything online and remote. So it was easy because we just all kind of went on either Zoom or Teams, and like we'd just be able to join class from them rather than having to go in person.
I mean, how did you obviously came back to New Zealand? Like, is there any part of you that would say I would have actually liked to have stuck it out over there?
Like yes and no, but because I remember talking to some of my mates as well that were going through that time, and you want to. I felt like for me personally, I wanted to, when I was going to the States, I wanted to get the whole experience. And kind of being locked in your dorm room or locked in your apartment and doing online school on the other side of the world, for me that kind of outweighed,
And I guess that comes down to like why people go to the US. Like there's academic reasons, sport reasons, experience reasons, and I think you definitely took that experience.
I wanted to go. I wanted to get the whole experience. I wanted to get the social side. I wanted to explore. I did quite a bit of travel when I was over there. It wasn't just about lacrosse and uni for me. It was a bit more. When COVID hit, it kind of took that away. So what was the point for me being there? But obviously you've got different reasons for going.
I mean, like for me it was just nice because I had a lot of, like I've obviously made a lot of friends across like different states because I've been at different schools. So even when we kind of went on remote, I was able to kind of travel within those times and like while still being in school. So I did take that as an opportunity to like go and see like certain, places in Nashville and Jersey, and like being able to go see New York, like it was quite nice being able to kind of travel while still being in school.
Why did you pick your school? The first school that you went to?
The first school I went to, well, for me, whenever I spoke to the coach, I had a really good feel for him, and just kind of speaking off his experience on he was new to the program to begin with, so he was kind of in that transition of trying to change the team around. And when I first met him, I kind of had a good feel for him, so I did kind of put a lot of trust into him. But whenever I did get to that school, the level probably wasn't as what I thought it was going to be. Yeah. So that's kind of what made me want.
You're the perfect person to have on today's show, because there's a lot of people that think that Division 1's better than Division 2 and so on. Yeah. Going through your experience, going to a D1 and transferring into a D2.
Yes.
What comments can you make about that?
I think it really comes down to kind of what you're really looking for. So when I was in my D1 school, I didn't really feel as supported as what I do at my D2 school that I'm at now. Yes. Okay. So kind of academically and then also athletically, they were always making sure I'm up to date with my classes, making sure I'm okay mentally, even being an international student, New Zealand's one of the furthest away countries from Americans kind of experience. So my coach was really understanding of that, and whenever I would feel kind of homesick or that I just, was maybe not up to standard during that practice, there was a little bit more understanding.
Yeah, definitely, and you are right, we are far away. I mean, just this morning we had 2 Division 1 college coaches looking at some of our tennis recruits, and I just dropped them back off to their place, and they were like, wow, you guys are a long way away. They look so tired. Yeah. And I think now they're going back understanding these kids from New Zealand are actually having to go a very long way away from mum and dad to outside, and you need to have that support. Yeah. Do you think part of it is because at Division 2 there are smaller schools, so you get a more family feel?
Yes, I think being at Division 2, the schools tend to be a lot smaller, and even the professors kind of know you more as a name basis rather than a number. Yeah. So I think that also helps within giving even with classwork, I've gotten a lot of extensions and how I'm still in my final exams right now, leaving back home, and they granted me that early leave to be able to come back home and finish my exams.
What do you think? You went to Chestnut, great D2 school. How was that school?
Well, it was wicked. It was a small population as well. I think there was only 2,000 kids there or something. Yeah. So it was you did kind of know everyone. I could walk down the hall and someone that I've just passed by would be like, oh, that's Will from New Zealand. So that was, that was quite...
Well, they first thought you were from England, right?
Yeah, g'day, cool, no, that kind of it was great. I mean, it was like a massive support system. Everyone there's kind of there to help you, whereas, some people might not like the whole idea of D1 where, you've got kind of a person for everything and no one really knows you. You're kind of, I guess, looked at as a number.
Yes, you are.
Compared to an actual person. So I completely understand where you're coming from, because I mean a lot of kids do think D1's kind of the be all end all. You have to be successful in sport, you have to go D1, but I don't think that's true, and I guess you're kind of a prime example of it.
Yeah. No, that I think what you said there, you just nailed it on the head, because just the other night, I think it was 2 nights ago, there was a boy on TV1 News that I've known for a very long time, and his name's KP, he's a tennis player. And he was on the One News segment about him potentially getting a wild card for the ASB Classic Pro Tournament. He went to Division 2. He had 4 years at Columbus State, and he was the #1 ranked college tennis player in the country. And he's out there beating professional athletes, and he's travelling the world as a pro, and he's got a degree in his back pocket. So I don't think people should look at D1 being better than D2. Personally, I would rather be at a location you were at a D2 school than a location in the middle of nowhere at a D1.
I mean, that's kind of what it was, Gardner Webb, I found. It was in a little place called Boiling Springs, and there was nothing around, absolutely nothing, not even I think they maybe had a grocery store and a gas station, and that was about all that was to the town. Whereas my school post is just up the road. There's quite a nice city where I can go to as well.
Absolutely, and look, we always break down, there's 4 pillars to college recruitment. There's the location, the academics, the sporting program, and the cost. How much is that experience costing you? And every person is a little bit different. I know that, if there's some students listening to this that they're desperate for a full scholarship because their family can't support them on a partial scholarship, and Gardner Webb say, here's a full ride, they'll go. And I think Gardner Webb's facilities and the academic institution can support them with that.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for location or lifestyle, then that's a bit different, right?
Yeah. And especially, you know, us international students, we don't have a car, so
That's
it's
true.
really, really difficult being able to kind of like go to these places. Whereas at my school now, we actually have shuttles that like go around, and so the school actually provides shuttles for us to be able to like go to different places.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the first week you arrive at college.
Yes.
How many times did people stop and say, where are you from?
Yes, a lot of the time, yeah. I mean, as soon as I open my mouth, like, the majority of people are like, oh, you're not American, where are you from?
It makes it pretty easy to make friends.
No, it does, yeah.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah, no, like, you know, you can just talk to someone and, you know, it's like an automatic icebreaker.
Yeah.
Because they just want to know everything about you because you're some alien to them. So.
Yeah. The only thing that I find quite frustrating is the Americans tend to think that New Zealand's actually in Europe. Like, they come
In Europe?
Yeah, I've had
England,
people, they think like we're in England, or like they think we're just like maybe near Italy, but they've never really understood. Or I get like New Zealand, aren't they like a state in Australia?
Yeah. You could make some money from that. You could say, if you can guess on a world map where we are from, I'll give you $5. If you don't, you give me $5.
Yeah.
You know, you guys would be pretty sweet if you did that. In the college,
Just trying to think about if I actually did that.
I would have put it past you, mate.
I did play a few games over there.
Yeah, I bet you did. No, that's awesome, man. And then, in regarding to when you go into a new team environment, you've grown up in New Zealand and you've played with a bunch of girls pretty much, you know, for quite a few years.
Yes.
You go to America and you're starting fresh, and I guess you can comment on this as well from a lacrosse perspective as well. Is it terrifying walking into a new environment?
Yes, I mean it is. Like, first of all, majority of the American girls know if you're an international coming into the school, like, you know, you have experience, you're going to be competition. So like that kind of setting of aspect of things kind of does make it terrifying, because straight away you're viewed as competition.
Yeah.
But kind of as like you start to like get to know the girls and like get a feel for the team, like they do open up to you, and they do kind of take you under their shoulder because they understand like you're from so far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you were looking at colleges, was being in an international roster important to you? Like seeing there's a lot of international members there? Or?
Yeah, so like I've had experience with that as well. So obviously my third school that I went to was very international based, and I tended to find that like I actually preferred playing in an American base because I bring a different style, whereas when there's a lot of internationals in one place, there's so many different styles of play and it can make it difficult.
Yeah.
What is the different style of play between American soccer and you know, football as they call it here?
Yeah, I mean, I would say American soccer is like a lot of them, like from my experience, like they've just really like built players, like they're just athletically so strong, and like they kind of focus a lot on that. Whereas I feel like growing up here, it's been a lot more technical and like tactical, and like kind of learning, you know, tactically how can I make my game better. So I found that like having to transition like that, I had to like really get into like gym work and stuff like that to be able to match myself to the rest of the girls.
A lot of athletes think they'll fit here in New Zealand, and they go to the States and they get surprised, don't they? I know, I was talking to one of our boys, Ronan Wynn, and he's at University of Denver right now. He's absolutely crushing it in his third year. And he was one of the fastest boys when he was in the Phoenix reserve setup and playing in the National League and so on. And his stats as an athlete were amazing. He was clocking 32 kilometers per hour up a wing in some of these games. Goes to the States. I interview him in his freshman year, and I said, "How you doing fitness-wise?" He goes, I was one of the slowest people when I got here. It's just ludicrous.
I'm even finding that with the rugby boys. Like, you look at, that's why the American coaches love New Zealanders, because we haven't been brought up training in the gym since we were 5. We've just had a ball in our hands since we were 5, and a lot of the new rugby players that are coming into the American college system, they're, you know, footballers. They don't want to play football, and they're just absolute, you know, meatheads.
It's a lot of potential, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they're looking for, you know, like we've got our boy Logan, like we keep talking about Logan. He's an incredible floor general. You know, he can run the field, and that's what they're looking for. They've got enough athletes over there. They need, you know.
Well, I think as recruiters, what we try to do, we don't try to convince coaches on the athlete is today. It's like the potential they could be with those resources. I mean, probably our best athletic setup is the AUT Millennium Stadium, right? It's got the head of sports there, it's got state-of-the-art gyms. That's like a really small college in the US.
Oh, 100%.
Like, it's absolutely crazy. I literally just interviewed Coach Zubin from Southern Mississippi, which is a D1 program. and he's a men's tennis coach there, and he was telling me on campus they've got a hospital for athletes. They've got 3 different types of gyms. You can go get an MRI on campus if you want to.
Yeah.
Nutritionists, sports psychologists, recovery rooms.
6 months in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And you get all the equipment, and then as I was getting in the car, he said to me, I get 30 grand US a year to spend on each athlete in our team.
Yeah.
On equipment.
Oh, it's nuts.
I know, and you just don't get it. Like, we have to pay for that.
The amount of resources that they have.
Yeah.
Is just
I'm struggling to find lacrosse balls for my under 18s trials tomorrow.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Well, I've got a tennis ball and a keychain over there. You have to take that one. In terms of like athletes that go pro, people think that if you go to Division 2, you cannot go professional. You got anything to say to that?
I have a lot of friends that
Thank
play
you.
in D2
Thank you.
soccer that have gone pro from being they've just graduated and they're looking at potential pro deals overseas. So I don't agree that if you go D2 that you can't go pro.
It's the coach that you're with.
Yes.
And it's the environment that you're in, right?
Yes.
I mean, we just had Tyler Hornsby recently. He's at Winthrop University. Him and the head coach had agreed that it was time to move on, and Tyler wanted to go for a different scene. And he's now going to Wilmington University in Delaware, D2.
Yes, Wilmington, I mean, we literally played them. They have nice facilities.
Yeah.
Wilmington's a nice school. But
Yeah, and I've had some big time players.
Coast Eagles, we did beat them.
Not surprised. Up the Eagles, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like that's what I mean. You look at the track record. I think if you want to go pro in any college environment, just ask the coach how many of the athletes are going professional, and you'll be surprised that actually a lot of them have.
And the majority, most of the coaches I found, everyone knows everyone. So there's always a networking and whole connections thing based over there. So like it's literally about how well you do at that school. It's not about what school you go to.
So you started college in August 2019, right?
Yes.
We're sitting here now in December 2022.
Yes.
How come you've got so many years of eligibility?
So obviously I did get injured, so that gave me a medical red shirt.
Right.
And then also obviously COVID happened as well, so that also gave me another year.
Did the university look after you?
Yes, they did.
With your ACL?
Yes, they did. I got surgery pretty much. I think it was 3 to 4 weeks after I was injured. Like they were just so quick and so looking after me, and I was able to get into physio facility straight away. Like from the moment I was injured to the moment I was better.
I have to go back to college to get my knees fixed.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I mentioned to you when we met at the Under-17 tournament last weekend that Georgie Van Linden, we placed her there, and she did her ACL as well, and then she got it done in the US compared to getting it done here in New Zealand, and the recovery time was so much faster. Now she's in San Diego living the dream.
Yeah, she is.
Playing some club footy out there, like completely fine. The resources that they have there are very good, but it's also good to know that they've got your back.
No, exactly, yeah.
They're not just going to get rid of you.
They really care about like wanting to make you better, to get you back on field. Like they do.
Honestly, the most common asked question we get when I do presentations from parents is, if my child gets sick or gets COVID or gets injured, what happens? So it's really cool that you shared that. That they out there support you. Do they support you as well, like mentally too?
Yeah, I mean, my school offers a lot of counselling, like, if you need counselling, but honestly the coaches really care about you as a one-on-one. So my coach Steph, she always wants to check in on me and like if I'm sick or if something's wrong. I also have, because you have an athletic trainer, they tend to kind of look after you a little bit more medically. So a couple of times when I was like during season when I felt unwell or sick, I would be sent to the nurse and straight away, there's that support that you have right away, and it's literally just outside your door because I live on campus, so it makes it easy.
That's brilliant. How much sledging have you received on an away game from the opposition's crowd? Like, have they heckled you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you kind of have to learn to like block it out.
Yeah, do you vibe it? You're like, okay.
I mean, sometimes I just kind of like give it an air and like try and like act like I
give them a wave.
Yeah, give them a wave as well. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you kind of get used to it at the being.
And then once you score, you look at them and be like, you did that.
Exactly.
Here's something I love asking other athletes, right? Is obviously your schedule must be insane.
Yes.
Being a student athlete, your class, lift, trainings, all of this. Like, how do you balance it? Balance is a big thing in athletes. How do you do it personally?
I mean, personally, like I always know, it's like from the moment I'm in season to the moment I have winter break. It's a 4 month. Like I kind of break it out, so I'm like, I know I'm going to be busy for these 4 months. Just get through it, and then you're going to have a break. Like I mean, I've just gone through my season. It was extremely busy, but now I have this next 2 months to have a little break and then back into spring season. So
does post give you those kind of resources,
Yes.
you know, tutors and that
Yes,
kind of jazz to help you manage such a busy kind of
Yes,
lifestyle?
I mean, whenever you first go over there, so usually in your freshman season, you'll tend to probably do study hall hours,
Yeah.
and so the coaches are always checking on you. You have about, for me, my first year, I had about 4 to 6 hours a week that I'd have to do a study hall, and then that would be like monitored by my coach, and then, you know, if my grades were good, then I'd be let off, and, you know, I wouldn't have to worry about doing study hall. So.
I used to get through so much Netflix and study hall.
Study, parents, study. Actually, I didn't tell you this. You know, I've already told you I placed Georgie Van Linden at.
Yes.
You know, the first ever client that I placed in college was Madison Young. She went to Post University for tennis back in 2015.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah,
First ever
client. And then I was in Wellington at a bar with my friend having a drink, and Maddie like shoulder taps me, and I was like, oh my gosh, like you're back from the States. She goes, yeah, I've been here for like a couple of years now.
Oh my
And she goes, by the way, I'm getting married, and I would have met this guy if it wasn't for you. And I was like, oh thanks. Didn't get an invite to the wedding, Maddie, but how cool is that?
It's nuts.
Yeah, I love, that's what I love about this job, is that the college system is so small, and the relationships that you build with people is just crazy. I mean, outside of soccer, you must have some pretty good connections over there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All across the states.
And so, what do you want to do? Like, so how many semesters have you got left?
So I have probably around 4 or 5 semesters left, because I do want to take the opportunity to do my masters if I finish my undergrad early.
Sweet. And so, what do you want to do your masters in?
Business.
In business. You're going to do your MBA?
Yeah, MBA.
Cool. And once you do your MBA, do you see yourself like? I don't want to stitch you up in front of your parents or anything, but do you see yourself like living there?
Yes, I mean my dad's pretty aware already that I want to be over there, and honestly he supports me. Like he knows.
Well, your dad's a well-travelled man. Yeah.
He honestly like knows how many opportunities are over there. So like I know for sure that I eventually want to live over in the States.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot scary. It's scary thinking about going to the States, and then when you get over there, you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that I definitely had that experience as well. When I first was moving over there, I was so nervous, so scared, and then as soon as I was there, I was actually extremely comfortable.
You realise that they're just other people.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Know, they're not some.
And a lot
they're not
of
out to get you.
Yeah.
They're just there in the same boat as you most of the
But
time.
they kind of match your energy, because if you do go to the States, you're someone that's okay to be out of your comfort zone, and you're energetic and you're outgoing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's them.
That's just it.
That's them, right?
I mean, it took me probably a week to settle in. You know, I was expecting it to be months, but after a week, you know, I had already had a good group of mates. I already met all the lacrosse boys, and we were all chatting away and you know, hugging each other, and you know, it takes a week. There you go.
How hard is it for the first 2 weeks in college?
I think like just trying to get used to like for me, first of all, the hardest thing I found was the jet lag, like trying to get used to the time.
Trying to shake it.
Trying to shake the time zone and just get used to the schedule. But I mean, it was pretty quick, because you do have like again like so much support just around you, and they just want to make sure you're comfortable from the get-go.
That's awesome, man. What about like homesickness? Like I know we spoke about when you got dropped off at college, and it was a bit tough on some family members.
The old man,
Yeah, like
first time I've seen him cry like that.
My dad.
No, you're stitching up your dad or cameraman?
He does.
My dad actually did shed one tear whenever he dropped me off as well. So.
Yeah, parents love their children, obviously want the best for them, and it's also like a new chapter, right?
Exactly.
But how did you guys deal with homesickness?
For me, like my dad did like come over a couple of times and like watch my seasons, and I mean now that I'm at my new school, like he's gonna be coming over next fall to watch me. But like, you know, FaceTime was very
pretty handy.
quick and easy thing fix whenever I missed home a lot.
I reckon I called mum and dad probably once a week. And then
it's like the new norm, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just FaceTime. You know, it's just like they're there. You tell them all about your week. I don't think they wanted to pester me too much. You know, I was out living my best life, and they didn't want to be on my case. But my little brother, me and him are real close, so you know, we'd call each other pretty much every day. And because he's all into lacrosse as well, so you know, we'd be talking about trainings and what we did, and all of that kind of jazz. So
it just becomes a new norm, doesn't it?
It does, and you get accustomed to it. Like and mum, I don't know if your parents did it too, send over little goodie packages.
Yes, I did get.
What was in the goodie package?
Shapes,
shapes, Tim-Tams.
Don't tell me pineapple love.
Yeah, occasionally there'd be pineapple and fruit burst. My roommate loved the fruit burst, so mum would send over extra packets for my roommate Casey. Shout out Casey. It's pretty easy. Once you're there, you know you're there, and you've got to focus on the task at hand. rather than worry about everything back home.
Yeah, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever missed an assignment deadline?
No, honestly, whenever I got injured, I was really kind of focused a lot more on my GPA. I'm actually lucky enough to have 4.0.
Yo,
so keep my
look
4.0,
at you, man. Let's go, NBA.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I did try and focus on making sure my grades were top notch as soon as I was injured, but, I mean, I honestly love how the school's kind of, like, works over there, so I do like doing my schoolwork over there.
What about you, mate?
Plead the fifth. Oh, I'd like to plead the fifth. Thank you. No, well, I mean, I think that's a good thing about American colleges. You have that support system. You have those coaches there that kind of, and like academic advisors that know like everything that you're going to do. You know, they know you have an assignment due on Friday, so they'll send. I remember I used to get a text on Thursday. Have you done this assignment? I'll be, oh shit, I didn't even know that was an assignment.
But also, like, the professors talk to the coaches, and so like quite often, sometimes coaches would call me and say, "Hey, Amrit, just a heads up, X, Y, Z." Haven't been doing the assignments on time, like, can you have a call because I've just got a report from the professor. We just want to manage the situation a bit better. I'm like, yeah, cool. And so, again, like, part of our job is we don't just leave them at the doorstep, the athletes at the doorstep, we look after them for 4 years too. So, being that big brother, making sure that the athletes are putting their best foot forward at all times is really important to us. And I think the fact that it's like a team operation between the academic department and the sporting department as well, that must be really setting for parents to know.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst thing is that you'll send your child to the States and be like, oh man, they didn't even do their washing back home. How are they going to be maintaining all of this?
Oh, you're just firing shots.
Hey, it's Friday.
Yeah,
I'm just being cheeky. I'm just trying to have them on a little bit. That's all. But,
well, it teaches you to do your washing. That's one thing for sure.
I get back now and I don't even want my dad to touch my washing. I just do
really?
it myself now. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, it's created a good habit.
Yeah, I'll make sure my brother listens to that because he just comes back from tour when he's like traveling around playing tennis, and he comes back with all his washing and it's just everywhere. Like, I get so triggered by it. I get so triggered. In terms of like the food in America, how did you find that? Coming from New Zealand.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like their food. Like it did take me a long time to adjust, and like you definitely just need to like look for like different alternatives. So I mean, obviously I get like I'm on a meal plan, so I get what the CAF gives me, and like they give you vouchers to like be able to go to Subway or like kind of those takeaway shops, but. I did tend to find that cooking myself kind of was nice, and the food at the supermarkets weren't that expensive, so I used to just kind of cook myself just because some of their food over there.
And you're like quite health conscious, right? You're really into your fitness, and I see that are you like a PT or you're trying to like inspire people?
No, I used to be a PT before I went to America, so I still kind of like dabble in it sometimes, but it's kind of that accounts for like kind of one-on-one coaching as well with soccer. So
that's so cool. That's great to have that knowledge going into it because nutrition is so important in the States. I know athletes that forget to eat. I mean, what could you say there?
Oh, I lived on Philly cheesesteaks. To be honest, I was in Philly, so they were so good. But no, I mean you're on meal plans. It's pretty hard not to eat. I've got one of my buddies over there at the moment who's trying to put on as much weight as possible, and you tag into the cap, you can eat as much as you want, kind of thing. Well, I think that was like a post, that's what I had, and it's a free for all. So really just.
You gotta be careful though. You do have to be careful. You don't like just overdo it and eat all.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't do the old rate the Philly cheesesteaks like David Portnoy for Basketball Sports, how he does the one bite pizza.
Yeah, I've tried doing that with chicken burgers recently. Actually, Sunday morning me and the flatmates always go out for a chicken burger, and we've got a little list going. So that's our.
I'm gonna go to Peaches and Pena.
All right, I'll give it a go. I love chicken burgers, to be honest.
I'll take you after this. Okay. We'll go to Peaches after this. Yeah, it's great. That's cool though. I know you eat very healthy food. What is your favourite fast food chain?
Chick-fil-A.
In America. Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
It does smack.
The Chick-fil-A sauce is just unbeatable.
Yeah. Do you reckon if it came to New Zealand, it'll just dominate?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
They need to bring it up. I've tried to like bring like Chick-fil-A sauce like my friends to try over here, and like they just love it.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you can buy it at Gilmore's.
Really?
Yeah, Costco, the new Costco.
Oh, I've heard. You actually went to the new Costco with your mum recently, right?
Yeah, I know, it was great.
Yeah.
I love grocery shopping with my mum.
Yeah. Such an experience, it's like an American style.
Oh, it is. And it actually took me back to, like, speaking about it, actually took me back because That's how most of the stores are in America. Just one big warehouse, just with everything. Like you go from like sauces to golf clubs to beds and to
Walmart.
you know, it's nuts, and that, you know, that's another thing Americans do quite well.
I was able to get like the essentials from the school they provided for me, but then like kind of like, you know, the curtains and, you know, when dress up your room.
Even curtains?
I mean, I've been and personally bought my own curtains.
Really?
And I got, what's it called, those like bed lifters to lift my bed up. I bought those as well. But yeah, they
Can't say I did that. I think I had a New Zealand flag in a bed, and I think that was about it.
Yeah, pillows, right?
Yeah.
Good man. Yeah, because I've heard like a lot of my athletes, they order stuff off Amazon.
Yes.
And then they get it delivered to whichever college you're going to, and it's there when they arrive.
One day,
That's smart,
Oh yeah, in the 1 day delivery in Amazon.
Yeah,
Is it 1 day delivery?
Yeah, their Prime, like Amazon Prime over there is just...
See, that's a dangerous game for students.
It is so good.
It's such a dangerous game because, did you spend a bit of coin on Amazon when you're
Hell yeah.
What was your best purchase?
I bought this like mini projector thing that just like shot onto the wall.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
It was like $29, and you know, had to get it, and it turned up the next day. It's great compared to here, you know, like trying to buy that cornhole set.
Oh yes.
And it's only just arrived, and I bought it like 2 weeks ago.
It's only just arrived.
Yeah.
We were meant to have that at the under 17 tournament, and he went and bought a new one.
I had to go buy a new one because it was taking 2 weeks to get delivered from Auckland to Auckland. I don't know how that works.
It's a joke.
So we need Amazon Prime delivery. Jeff
Bezos.
Yeah, Jeff, we're looking at you. Yeah, 100%. What's to finish this chat off? What is some recruiting advice you can give to future student athletes?
I would say just be like very open-minded, like when you get there, like for the, you know, the people that do sign for the schools, like as soon as you get there, like, you know, it's going to be tough to begin with, but like just trust the process and like trust the university and like, you know, these people that they're going to look after you, they're going to take care of you, and like it will work out.
And in terms of any advice regarding divisions, associations, what advice could you give there?
I mean, like, I personally, you know, from being in a D1 to moving to a D2, like, you know, I've had such a better experience, so like I wouldn't base off, you know, always thinking D1's the way to go. Like I would definitely, a lot of D2 schools tend to actually beat D1, so I would just keep that in mind that, you know, each school has different, you know, sort of aspects.
It's not based on skill level, is it?
No, exactly.
No, it's based on the structure of the school.
Mm-hmm.
And I reckon getting like the recruitment process as well with the coach will really help you understand how they run their program. We just had one. Actually, I'll talk about Keegan Kelly.
Yeah, there we go.
So Keegan Kelly, great athlete.
Terrible at cornhole.
Terrible at cornhole. He's calling you out, Keegan. Keegan can come beat you up, man. He's bigger than you now. He's actually a weapon of a guy. Great striker. East Coast Base had one hell of a season last year, and he signed. He's verbally committed with the University of Denver in his year 12 year. And part of the recruitment process was the coach looked at the video first, then he interviewed Keegan, and then he said to Keegan, I want you to watch our next match that we're playing live, and I want you to tell me what you think, and give us feedback. Keegan then provided notes. The coach goes, yep, that's exactly what we were thinking as well, with areas that we need to improve on. Then they got a full game up, dissected it down, and then they asked Keegan, what areas can you improve on? And then Keegan gave the areas back to them, and then they're like, we've got a lot of confidence in this guy. And then Keegan said, I've got a lot of confidence in this program because I've done things the right way. If a coach moves really quick in the process, it could be a red flag. Do you reckon it could be?
I agree.
How many calls did you have with your coach before you?
I mean, I spoke with her because I ended up coming home last.
Stephanie?
Stephanie. So I started speaking to Stephanie last 2021's October. So I spoke to her all the way up leading until I left in July of this year. So
did you talk to any athletes in the team or anything like that?
Yes. A lot of the athletes did reach out to me, and then obviously Georgie, fellow, you know, I played against her a lot. So she was very inspiring to me of like wanting to go to post.
Yeah, Georgie's awesome, man. Yeah, she's a great family as well. Awesome family. But hey, look, I just want to thank you for joining us today. I mean, we're just trying to create as much content as we can with the goal of helping a lot of student athletes and giving them a really clear image about the college system, because I feel like this isn't discussed enough. And you know, there's a lot of great things about college, but there's also a lot of challenging things as well. So it's awesome that you're sharing your experience. And if you guys want to follow Bianca on Instagram, just go to Bianca Stiles. She's got a personal training page as well. definitely check that out. Follow Post Women's Soccer. Best
Yes,
of luck
please do. Thank you.
for the spring. That must be exciting. You're heading off when? First week in January?
January 16th.
16th, you got a couple of weeks.
Yes.
Oh, that's how good. And if you guys want to talk to Bianca about experience, you can message her. But again, if you want to know more about what we do as a business, just go to Platform Sports Management on Instagram, and the rest is history. So
Cool.
thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Till next time, this is the Platform Podcast.
Oosh, how good.